Hello student, welcome to again physics online lecture chapter number 9 current electricity part 4. In this session we will start from the first point, advantages of potentiometer over a voltmeter. So know that in the last section we will discuss about the part for the potentiometer, and we also see about the uses of potentiometer. So potentiometer is used for the measurement of unknown EMF. It is also used for the comparison of two EMFs. It is also used for the measurement of internal resistance of cell. Okay, so let us see the first point, advantages of potentiometer over a voltmeter. Okay, so what are the merits? So the first is that the potentiometer is more sensitive than a voltmeter. Okay, so we know that the potentiometer consists of a long and uniform wire, so it can give the accurate measurement of value. Okay, so due to of that reason, so what is the first point? The potentiometer is more sensitive than a voltmeter. The second point is a potentiometer can be used to measure a potential difference as well as an EMF of cell. Okay, so the potentiometer can be used, it can also measure the potential difference also, it can also measure for EMF of cell also. A voltmeter always measure the terminal potential difference. Okay, so the voltmeter can measure only the potential difference, and as it draws some current, so it cannot be used to measure an EMF of cell. Okay, so the voltmeter can be used for only the potential difference, measurement of potential difference, and it can be used for the measurement of EMF of cell. Let us see the third merit. The measurement of potential difference or EMF is very accurate in the case of potentiometer. A very small potential difference of the order of 10 raised to minus 6 volt can be measured with it. The least count of a potentiometer is much better compared to that of a voltmeter. Okay, so by using that potentiometer we can measure the accurate EMF, we can also measure the potential difference. Okay, and we can measure a very small potential difference which is near about 10 raised to minus 6 volt. Okay, so these are the merits or advantages of potentiometer over a voltmeter. Okay, but what is the demerit? So potentiometer, it is not portable, and direct measurement of potential difference or EMF is not possible. Why? Because we know that the potentiometer consists of a long and uniform wire which is fixed on a wooden board. Okay, so due to that reason the potentiometer is not portable and we cannot measure the direct potential difference or EMF. So that is the demerit for the potentiometer. Then the next point is, let us see the explanation for the galvanometer. A galvanometer, it is a device which is used for the measurement of electric current in a circuit. Okay, and this galvanometer which is pivoted or suspended type galvanometer. Okay, and in this galvanometer a coil which is to be suspended between a two concave pieces of horseshoe magnet. Okay, so this is the horseshoe magnet in which this is a rectangular coil and this rectangular coil which is to be suspended. Okay, and when there is the current can flowing through the coil. Okay, so this is a rectangular coil, and when there is the current can flowing through the coil, then it can be deflects okay, and its deflection is proportional to the current passes through the coil, okay, and this deflection of the coil is measured with the help of pointer which can be attached to it. Okay, so when the current can flowing through tube increases, so it can shows the increase in deflection. Okay, means in that case we say that the current is proportional to the deflection. Okay, because when the current increases, the deflection can also to be increases. Okay, then the galvanometer can be used as an ammeter as well as voltmeter. Okay, so let us at first we will discuss about the part for galvanometer can be used as an ammeter. So while we see about the galvanometer, so know that the galvanometer in which it can show the large deflection for a small amount of current can flowing through it. Okay, suppose in that case we assume that capital G, that is the resistance of galvanometer, it can show the full scale deflection when a small amount of current, suppose Ig, can be flowing through it. So while we see about the galvanometer, in this galvanometer it is always connected in series through which the current I to be measured. Okay, and while this galvanometer can be used as an ammeter, okay, so the some modification they are made in the galvanometer. So what are the modifications? So the first is that its effective current capacity must be increased. So that when the galvanometer can be used as an ammeter, so naturally it can be used for the measurement of large current. Okay, so what is the first important thing is that for the modification, so the first is that its effective current capacity must be increased. What is the second? Its effective resistance must be decreased. Okay, so actually when the current to be increases, the resistance to be decreases. Okay, so what is the second? Its effective resistance must be decreased. A third, it must be protected from the possible damages. Okay, why? Because in that case when due to the large amount of current can passes through it, so the coil to be get to be delicate, it can be get to be damages. Okay, so for the protection of that coil, okay, so we can make some modification in it. Okay, so these are the modifications they are made in the galvanometer while they can be used as an ammeter. Okay, so while we say about this modification can be made or it can be achieved by connecting a low resistance in parallel with the galvanometer. Okay, means that parallel resistance is also called as the shunt resistance. Okay, so this shunt resistance which is low resistance which is connected in parallel with the galvanometer. Okay, then let us see the uses of that shunt. Okay, so what is the first use? It is used to divert a large part of total current by providing an alternate path, and thus it protects the instrument from damage. Okay, so in that case when we see about the diagram, in that case this is the shunt resistance, that is a low resistance is connected in parallel with the galvanometer. Okay, so when the large amount of current means I can be flowing through it, so at the junction point it can be divided in the two parts. Okay, so IS current can flowing through the shunt resistance and IG current can flowing through the galvanometer. Okay, so it can be diverted a large part of total current by providing an alternate path, and due to that region it protects the instrument from damage because the small current can flowing through the galvanometer. So due to that region it can protects from the damage. Second, it increases the range of an ammeter. Okay, so what is the second use? It can increase the range of an ammeter. Third, it decreases the resistance between the points to which it is connected. Okay, so it can be decreases the resistance. Okay, so these are the three uses for the shunt. Okay, then let us find out the value of the shunt. Okay, so in that case, suppose Ig, that is the current flowing through the galvanometer, okay, through ES is, so in that case, while we say about the current IS, so what is the current IS? So that is right in the form of I minus Ig, because I, that is the current, can be at this point it can be given in the form of Ig and Is. Okay, so what is the value for Is? So that is I minus Ig. Okay, so in that case, well, you can consider about the potential drop across the galvanometer and the potential drop across the shunt resistance. When we can compare that two potentials, so we'll get the equation G into Ig. Okay, means V equal to I into R according to Ohm's law. So for the galvanometer, what is the resistance of galvanometer? That is G, and what is the current can flowing through it? Ig. Okay, so G into Ig. Then while we consider for the shunt, what is the resistance? Yes. What is the current can flowing through it? That is Is, or that is I minus Ig, means Is. Okay, so its value is actually Is into S. Okay, but what is the Is? That is I minus Ig. Okay, so we can write S into I minus Ig. So what is the S? So S equal to Ig upon I minus Ig into G. Okay, so that is the formula for the shunt resistance. Okay, so we know the value for the current I can flowing through it. We know the value for Ig. We know the value for G. When we can substitute all of that value, okay, and by using that we can find out the shunt resistance. Okay, and by using that shunt resistance is connected in parallel with the galvanometer, then we say that the galvanometer is converted into an ammeter. Okay, then let us see the next point, next part. Suppose if the current I is n times current Ig. Okay, means suppose we assume that the current I, that is n times Ig, then capital I equal to n into Ig. So using this, in the above equations we'll get, okay, so in that above equation we can substitute I is equal to n into Ig. So we'll get what is the S. So S equal to G into Ig upon n Ig minus Ig, or get S is equal to G into n minus I. Okay, means we can take out common Ig get cancelled. So what is the formula for shunt resistance? So we'll get the formula is S equal to G upon n minus 1. Okay, so this is required shunt to increase the range n times. Okay, so when we can increase the range n times, so this is the formula for shunt resistance. And what is the second? Also, if Is is the current through the shunt resistance, then the remaining part of current I minus Ig will be flow through the galvanometer. Okay, so hence we can write G into I minus Is is equal to S into Is. Okay, so Gi minus Gis equal to S into Is. Is plus Gis equal to Gi. So Is upon I is equal to G upon Es plus G. Okay, so this equation can give the fraction of total current, means Ig upon I, that is considered as the fraction of total current through the shunt resistance. Okay, so that is the total explanation for galvanometer as an ammeter. Okay, similarly, the second part we will discuss about the galvanometer can be used as an voltmeter. Okay, so we know that voltmeter, it is an instrument which can be used for the measurement of potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit. Okay, and it is always connected in parallel with the component across which the voltage drop is to be measured. Okay, so in that case, well, we can convert the moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter, moving coil galvanometer into an voltmeter. Okay, so there are the some modification can also made in it, similar like that of the galvanometer as an ammeter. Okay, so what are the modifications? So the first is that its voltage measuring capacity must be increased. Okay, so it can be used as a voltmeter, so we can increase the voltage measuring capacity. similar that of the ammeter, we can measure increasing its current capacity. Okay, in that case, what is the second part? Its effective resistance must be increased. Okay, in the ammeter, we know that the effective resistance must be decreased. Okay, because it can be used for the measurement of large current capacity. Okay, so but in that case, what is its effective resistance? So in that case, the effective resistance must be increased. Okay, third part is that it must be protected from the possible damages. Okay, means there is the excess of applied large difference, potential difference, so the coil again delicate, which can be get to be damages, so the protection of the coil. Okay, so we can make some modification in it. Okay, so that is the third modification. Then after that, while we see about all of this can be achieved by connecting a large resistance which can be connected, or high value for resistance, suppose X, which can be connected in series with that of the galvanometer. Okay, so while we say about in the ammeter, in ammeter we say that there is a small value for resistance is connected in parallel with the galvanometer. Okay, but while we can see about the galvanometer can be used and voltmeter, so in that case we can make modifications. So what is the modification? In that case, we can take a resistance which can having a high value, means suppose X, that resistance can be having a high value and can be connected in series with that of the galvanometer. Okay, so in that case, the voltmeter is connected across the points where potential difference is to be measured. Okay, so in that case, while we say about, we can again see about the uses of that galvanometer. Okay, so what are the, in that case we can see about the uses of the resistance. So what are the uses of resistance? It protects the instrument from damages. What is the second? It can increase the range of the voltmeter. And what is the third? It increases the resistance between the points to which it is to be connected. Okay, so these are the three uses for the resistance. Okay, after that we can find out the value for the resistance X. Okay, so let us see, we can see about the value for the resistance. So in that case, if V is the potential difference to be measured, so that is the V, that is the potential difference to be measured between these 2 points. Okay, and what is the V? Is equal to Igx plus Ig into G. Okay, so in that case, there is suppose Ig current can flowing through it, and the same Ig current can flowing through large resistance X as well as the resistance of galvanometer capital G. Okay, so we can again compare the two potential difference. So V, that is the potential difference, is equal to, what is the potential difference for X? So that is Ig into X. What is the potential difference for galvanometer having resistance capital G? That is Ig into G. Okay, so can again compare the two potential difference. So we can write the equation is V is equal to Igx plus Ig into G. So Igx equal to V minus Ig into G. So what is the X? So X equal to V upon Ig minus G. So in that case, we know the value for potential difference, we know the value for Ig current which can be flowing through it, we know the value for capital G, that is the resistance of galvanometer. So by substituting all of three values, we can find out the value for X, means large value for X, and that X is connected in series with the galvanometer. Okay, then we say that the galvanometer is converted into an voltmeter. Okay, so that is the explanation for the conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter, where Ig is the current flowing through the galvanometer. Okay, suppose if NV is equal to V upon Vg. Okay, so we can write equation V upon Ig into G. So what is the Vg? So Vg, that is the potential across the galvanometer. Okay, so what is the potential across the galvanometer? That is Ig into G. Okay, so we'll get if NV is equal to V upon Ig into G. So is the factor by which the voltage range to be increases, and can be shown that X equal to G into NV minus 1. Okay, so that is the expression for conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter. Okay, so let us see the comparison of an ammeter and voltmeter. Okay, so let us see the comparison points between ammeter and voltmeter. So in ammeter it measures the current. We know that voltmeter it can measure the potential difference. Second, in ammeter it is connected in series, it is connected in parallel. Okay, so means the resistance. Okay, so in ammeter the resistance is connected in series and it is connected in parallel. Okay, it is an MCG. MCG means moving coil galvanometer with low resistance. It is an moving coil galvanometer with high resistance. Okay, so in that case that is the high resistance is connected in series, and in galvanometer there is a small resistance, that is a resistance connected in parallel. Okay, so what is the fourth point? Smaller the shunt, greater will be the current measurement. Okay, so in ammeter we can connect the small resistance, that is the shunt resistance, so it can measure the large current. So in that case that is the largest resistance, so greater will be the potential difference measured. Okay, so in that case the potential resistance is large, so it can measure the potential difference is large. Okay, so what is the fifth point? The resistance of ammeter is, what is the formula for resistance of ammeter? So SG upon S plus G equal to G by N. And in the resistance of voltmeter, so what is the formula for resistance of voltmeter? That is G plus X or is equal to G into NV. Okay, so these are the comparison for ammeter as well as voltmeter. Okay, so that is the total explanation for galvanometer. Okay, so in that case we will discuss about the part for galvanometer, and the uses of galvanometer is it can be used for an ammeter for the measurement of current. It can also use for the voltmeter for the measurement of potential difference. Then let us see the last point, that is the thermoelectricity. Okay, so when we say about the thermoelectricity, so we know that when electric current can passes through the wire, it can having the resistor. So in that case the wire which is get to be heated, means we say that the electric energy is converted into thermal energy. But while we consider about in the reverse process, so in reverse process the conversion of thermal energy directly into electrical energy. Okay, and this can be first discovered by Seebeck. Okay, and that effect is called as the Seebeck effect, or that is also called as the thermoelectric effect. Okay, so we can see about that Seebeck effect. Okay, so in Seebeck effect the thermal energy is converted into electrical energy. Okay, so while we say about in the Seebeck effect, so these are the two diagrams for the Seebeck effect. So in Seebeck effect we found that if the two different metals are joined to form a closed circuit or loop, and these junctions are kept at different temperatures, then a small EMF is produced and a current flows through the metal. Okay, so according to the Seebeck effect, so he explained that if we can take the two different metals, and these two different metals they are joined to form a closed circuit or loop, like that in that two figures. Okay, and these junctions they are kept at different temperatures, that is important. Okay, so these junctions are at different temperatures, then we found that the small EMF is produced and there is the current can flows through the metal. Okay, so that EMF which is to be produced, that is called as the thermo EMF. Okay, and the effect is called as the Seebeck effect. Okay, and the pair of dissimilar metals forming the junction that is called as the thermocouple. Okay, so thermocouple means the pair of dissimilar junctions. The pair of dissimilar metals form the junction that is called as the thermocouple. Okay, so in that case we will get the two thermocouples, first in the form of iron and copper, and in that case that is the antimony and bismuth. Okay, so in that case we found that these junctions, they are at the two different temperature. Okay, so this is the hot junction, this is the cold junction. Okay, and in that case we say that these are the two metals, they are at the different temperatures, and due to of the region there is the small EMF which is to be produced and the current can flowing through it. Okay, so in that case this is the current can be flowing through it, and the galvanometer can be shows the depletion when the current can flowing through it. Okay, so similar in that diagram there is the antimony and bismuth, these are the two junctions, they are again kept at the two temperature difference, so that is the hot junction, that is the cold junction, and due to of the temperature difference there is a small EMF can be developed and there is a current can flowing through it. Okay, so this is the current can flowing through it. Okay, so that is the explanation for the Seebeck effect. Okay, so in that case while we say about the thermo EMF developed in a thermocouple when the cold junction is at 0 degree Celsius and hot junction is at T degree Celsius. Okay, so in that case the EMF can be developed, that is the thermo EMF. Okay, and this thermo EMF can be developed when the two junctions are at two different temperatures. Okay, so one that is the cold junction, that is at 0 degree Celsius, and second that is the hot junction which is at T degree Celsius. Okay, so in that case when we can write the formula for the EMF E, so what is the formula for EMF E? So EMF E is equal to alpha T plus 1/2 beta into T square. Okay, so in that case alpha and beta, they are called as the thermoelectric constant. Okay, so alpha and beta, they are called as the thermoelectric constant. Okay, so that is the explanation for the thermoelectricity. Okay, so the theory part of that chapter is to be completed. Okay, so thank you for watching this lecture.